It's your boy Crypto Blood. What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. And today is actually not a My Two Satoshis. I'm just so used to saying it that that I just did. Actually, today we're going to be I'm going to be playing a video, an interview I did over on C Sigma's website or channel. I'll leave the link to Caldwell's YouTube channel in the description of this video. But we had an excellent chat about Bitcoin, the early days, where we think things are going in the future, all that good stuff. And so I'm gonna go ahead and play that in a minute. But before we do that, you know, I gotta get in there my man Marco's crypto Christmas countdown pick for today. This is day 14, and for today he is actually picking Humanic. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So their token symbol is HMQ, and the price currently is 17.5 cents. His cost was almost 11.5 cents, and Marco is up 54% with Humanic. I tell you, you better be grateful for these days, people, because these types of returns, man, I tell you, you won't see anything like this ever again in our lifetimes, I don't believe. But a little bit about Humanic really quickly. I'm going to give you a rundown. Humanic aims to eradicate poverty amongst millions of people living in emerging economies, building a next generation model for financial services, Bank 4.0, which is based on blockchain technology, mobile devices, and biometric identification systems. Our aim is to empower a market of 2 billion people who currently don't have access to banking across the world. Almost half of the world, over 3 billion people, live on less than $2.50 a day. Wow, at least 80% of humanity lives on less than $10 a day. More than 80% of the world's population lives in countries where income differentials are widening. Yes, for sure. They're definitely widening here in the States as well. So, yeah, man, it's sad, and you know, I didn't really look into Humanic. Just so many ICOs. I remember when it came out, but look at Ric Flair. Woo! Join that Webbot room, people. And while I'm on the subject of the Webbot, there is a campaign going on. We're putting something together special for Clif High as a token of our appreciation for a lot of his calls that his Webbots have predicted and this year. So guys, if you're part of the Webbot room, please get in there, look at the pinned message for details about what we're trying to do, and give your feedback, give your input on it. Definitely need it. And I'll be putting something together, something special, and yeah, look forward to that. So jump over to CryptoBlood.io, pick up some of those teas, people. Now it's cool to be in Bitcoin. Like, now you're not looked at as like retarded, strange, or deranged. So rep it hard. Got a couple of crypto teas over there, so check it out, CryptoBlood.io. And without further ado, my man Caldwell, C Sigma Show. Check it out, people. Holla.
What's up, everybody? This is Caldwell Lynch, and we're on the Crypto Cuz Show, West Side.
Yeah. What's going on, people?
Nah, we on the line with Crypto Blood. He's on
how you guys doing?
Crypto Blood's in D-Town. I got some people up there, up in D-Town.
Small world.
No, man. Like, who knows? If I would have went to the family reunion this year, I might have rolled into you, but like, hey, I know you from somewhere. Cousin Leroy,
brother from another right, exactly, Cousin Leroy.
But Crypto Blood, he hosts his own YouTube channel, very popular. He has
if you say it, I don't know about all that, but hey, I'm just doing my thing, man. I never thought it would get like where it is now. I don't really consider it big, but I just wanted to get on there and express, tell my story, man. And really my first, I think second or first video was me just going to my pop's crib to get him into cryptos. Finally, he said he would do it, and I've been bugging him for like 3 years. So that was my first video. I didn't really, I wasn't trying to do a channel and be, all big or whatever, but it just kind of happened.
Right. I mean, radio, TV, and film was my major out at Cal State Northridge. But, man, like, first I was like, man, let's do a YouTube channel. And then, you know what? You have like a baby, and you got zero time, no quiet time, really. And then they get older, they kind of get louder. And I had to, just wait. Now she's 4, and you can be like, here's the iPad. Give me 30 or 40 minutes.
Yep, that's my daughter. I give her that iPad, and she's on there, YouTube Kids, and she's good to go.
Yeah, a little Paw Patrol. Now I can go talk to some people in the basement and talk some cryptos, man. So CryptoBrothers has a great Telegram room. It's kind of an offshoot, or we kind of started from Clif High's reports. They call it the Woo. What do we call it?
The Woo Woo room was the first room,
right?
And you were one of the kind of early members, I believe.
Well, I saw I saw yours, and I'm like, I'm down with Clif, so I popped in there.
Yeah, and it just grew, man. I swear. Oh, so that story. Let me tell you about that. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start a Telegram room because I didn't really see any community for like people who like Clif High and.
Right.
People who like Clif High are of like minds, really. Yep. You know what I mean? Like we're a special type of people. So I started it, and Clif High saw one of my videos, and he tweeted my video, and I remember that night, man, we had like 56 members at that time,
right? And
all of a sudden, it just kept. I had a welcome bot, and it was just we were talking, and then all of a sudden, just like floods of people kept coming in, and it went from like 50 people up to like 300-400 people in like 3 hours.
Right.
So it just kind of grew from there. So great community though.
It's like having a token and have like Vitalik tweet about it or something.
Exactly.
It was like, whoa, where all this come from? Something happened.
Yeah,
what
10x. Happened? Right. We did 10x. We were talking about that. We did a 10x return on the number of members in the room.
Right. So yeah, if anybody know what Clif High is, he has a website called Half Pressed Human. And he puts out these reports. And here's the thing about Clif High, but people trip out about it. If you say I got a Webbot that scours the internet to look for language to give me an idea of what the future is going to be, people be like, you crazy. But if you say, well, Goldman Sachs has an algorithm that searches through all the data feeds of the markets across the world and comes back with picks of stocks or something, they'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. So it's the same thing, whether it's, Clif and web bots or whatever you want to call them, spiders. There's an algorithm that goes out, retrieves information, you collate it, and you come out with a message. Whether that's, like people talk about, BitConnect, for better words. If somebody says I have an algorithm from some MIT guy that works at Goldman Sachs that scours financial data and trades, and people are like, oh, that's fine. But say, oh, I got a bot that trades, Bitcoin volatility. Oh, that's a scam. But I'm just saying, if you said algorithm,
I'm one of those.
So I'm just saying, if it's an algorithm from Goldman, it's fine. But if it's a web bot spider from a dude in his trailer in Oregon or Washington, then he's crazy. So just context people.
But it kind of, the validity of it kind of came about once he started pointing that and focusing more on cryptos and people actually started making money. Like I used to watch Clif just I just liked hearing like crazy stuff about aliens in the sky and time portals and all that. Like I'm just weird like that. So I really, you didn't make any money off of the information he provided before then, really. I mean, his calls on precious metals were not too accurate, and I understand why, because of the mass manipulation that the COMEX is up to. But people weren't really making money off of his work. They just liked him and they thought he was smart, and that's what I thought. And I just liked his work. And so when he started making money for people, as he kind of pivoted his his focus onto cryptocurrencies, that's when it became really like real for a lot of people.
Right.
You know.
Right. I mean, I remember like 2015, like when I started buying Bitcoin again, he was just kind of like, man, you should buy this. I remember talking to my boy Mike. He's in Nome, Alaska. Never met him, but Facebook friends, and we got off of Facebook, but stayed in contact. You know, he's in Nome. I'm in Australia, so talking. I'm like, man, Clif's talking about Bitcoin, man. It's like 250. Like, oh, man. And people think that buying Bitcoin now at like, you know, 15, 17, whatever, $20,000 is a gamble. Man, try buying it at 200. When that stuff could have easily went back to zero. In theory,
bro, that's what I'm saying. So exactly, like when I hear people talk about it's a bubble, I say I've heard this so many times. I'm like, I'm desensitized. It's we don't know where the bubble is, and that's what I said in my video today. Like, no one can call the bubble. It'll have to be a hindsight type of call. Yep. Because this is a new asset. This is a entirely new class of assets that we're in unknown territory. Yep. So we won't know where the bubble is. The bubble can be tomorrow. It could be $1 million. It could be 2 million. Like, we don't know. We can all have these projections on where we think it will be, but I think ultimately we will never know until we kind of look back at it and say, wow, that was the point that it burst. But yeah, I bought at $75. I thought it was hella expensive. Like, it was $75. It was 75 times more valuable than US dollar. It was the most expensive currency, if you wanted to call it back then. They were kind of saying that was kind of the thing that we're floating around. The most expensive currency. It was at $75.
Were you like pre-Coinbase? Like, did you go through Gox or something?
Oh yeah. So I used to go through Charlie Shrem's operation in New York. So I would go up to CVS and send a bill pay. You know, you do like a bill pay to Charlie Shrem and his company, and then he would credit your Mt.Gox account, and then you buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, see, I think I had to wait until like Coinbase popped out.
Okay.
And then I was like now it's easy because I mean
yeah, it's easy.
I was just like, man, I can't be like Douala to like Serbia.
Yep.
You know, I was like, man, like, what? Like, I'm learning about gold and silver, and you gonna tell me that some fiat digital money is gonna be? I was like, come on, man.
Yep, exactly. So it was way harder back then, way harder, and everyone nowadays got it easy. Man, right? You could do it, like you said, through Douala. You could even do it back then. There was a site where you could get it through Linden Bucks. You ever heard of Second Life?
Yeah. Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So you could buy. There was an exchange where you could swap Linden Bucks for Bitcoin. Wow. And stuff. So you could have gotten it that way, but it was hard. It was tougher back then to get it.
Absolutely. And one thing that annoys me lately, in the last maybe week or so, they're talking about 1,000 people, whales, you know, can control Bitcoin. Like, almost like, see, it's centralized. Like, man, them 1,000 people were early. There was no guarantees when they were like doing mining or whatever they were doing. Yeah. But hey, if there's 1,000 people that was in the early doing like that, then, you know, God bless them, because they took the risk.
Yep, they saw it. I mean, when I first saw how I found out about Bitcoin was through Zero Hedge. It was about 1 o'clock at night. I was up in the bed and just kind of looking at the screen, scrolling through Zero Hedge, and I saw an article about digital currency, and it kind of broke it down. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to change the world. Like, I saw it right away. And that night, literally that night at 1:30 in the morning, my wife was knocked out. I'm like, yo, I'll be right back. Going up to CVS. She's like, okay, whatever. So I go up there, man, and I didn't know, like, I didn't know if it was a scam or what. So I just put in, I think I purchased like four Bitcoin at that point at $75. So I sent it off to him. I went back home. I waited, finally got an email confirmation that they received my funds. So then I was able to swap it and over at Mt.Gox and buy. And once I bought, I went back out and bought the rest. I ended up buying 10 Bitcoin to start this whole journey. Wow. So I spent $750 back then. That was a lot of money to me to just throw away. Like, I didn't know, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I could have just shot some dice with my homies on that one. Man. But I gambled. I'm like, let me just try it, and it went from there, man.
That's That's crazy. But you know, like I say, you were early. You jumped through the hoops. So you know, if you're sitting on 1,000 of them, God bless you. So
yeah, I'm not sitting on 1,000,
no,
but
I mean,
but I've made a lot of money, and what ended up happening was from $75. I don't know if you remember. You said you got it in 2014,
yeah,
15.
I'm gonna say the original 300.
Okay, yeah. So from 75, it rose up to 300, then the 600, right? And then it went, and then I think it came back a little bit, but it ended up going from $75 up to 1,000.
Yeah,
or like 1,200 on Mt.Gox.
It was almost parity with gold at 1,200.
Parity with
I was
gold.
waiting. I was like, come on, just because I was like, man, I don't know, this might be it. Let me just flip it. And I pulled out. It might have been the day of or just before I sold and bought like an ounce of gold.
Yep.
Because there was a dealer.
My buddy, it's funny you say that because we were talking about, like, remember when Bitcoin tested parity with gold the first time?
Yep.
And that would have been a historic moment, I believe. And it couldn't do it. But the second time it did it, man. I think it really probably sold or convinced a lot of precious metal people at that point to really take this seriously.
Yeah, I mean, earlier this year, right? I'm here in Australia talking to some young kid, and I'm like, look, man, the thing's almost parity with gold. Just get a little bit. Trust me. It was in April. It was like 1,000, right? What was it now? It's like a 15, 16, 17x move from
It was April. Yep. Because I was in Atlanta. On business, and my business partner's buddy, we were talking about. He's a huge bug fan. Precious metal.
Yep.
Guy, and at that time, like you said, I was like, man, it's going to pass gold, and he's like, no, I can't. And yeah, lo and behold, man, look where we are now.
Yeah, you know, and now all of a sudden you got, you know, my wife now, she's on Facebook. This woman's talking about cryptocurrency. I'm like, yeah, everybody cryptocurrency expert now. They're like, it hit 10,000, and everybody came out the woodworks.
Everybody's an expert.
Everybody, you know,
everyone.
Just like, man, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years.
Oh man, it's frustrating. I don't even really, to be honest with you, I don't even talk about it in public anymore because I talked about it so much. Like when I discovered it, that now, like, people that knew, like, every week I run into someone at the cigar lounge or wherever I am. Hey man, you still in that Bitcoin? I need you to explain it. I'm like, I don't have time. Like, I can't explain something I told you to go research 4 or 5 years ago. Like, that's on you. You gotta do your due diligence now. I don't have the time to explain it all over again. So I rarely talk about it nowadays in public. I kind of let my excitement out on my channel. That's like kind of my outlet now.
I mean, you tell me, like, you know, people look at me, I'm like, I've been talking about this like you for so long. Like, my conviction should have told you to do it. The fact that I came to work every day and I got Coin Market Cap up every day, and you see me looking at it, and my conviction should have been like, man, this dude really, maybe I should do a little bit because this dude always does it for like every single day. If that didn't make you do it, like, now your barrier to entry is a little bit higher than it could have been.
Ooh.
I mean,
yeah, you're not gonna be able to get a hold. Most people aren't gonna be able to get a hold of Bitcoin now. That's for sure,
man. So hey, you're in the room there, man. You're moderating. You're mixing in with the 1,000 people in that one room. What are some of the your favorite coins? And by the way, people, this is not financial advice. This is just two dudes talking about crypto. You gotta do your own due diligence. I tell people before you get any skin in the game, watch some videos. There are plenty of good people out there. I like Carter Thomas, Data Dash. They call me Dan. I got my boy Crypto Blood every morning. I can save it, listen to it on the train. So please just spend a week, 10 or 15 minutes a day, watch some videos, and hurry up. So
it just depends, man. Like who that person is. If they're a beginner, I would suggest just your basics. You know, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin. But for me, I see. I'm most excited about EOS.
No.
Just because Dan Lermer, his track record, I use Steam it every day. I know what it can do. I know what it can handle as far as transactional throughput. per second, and it's a solid blockchain. And he's basically taken that infrastructure, that blockchain and framework, and kind of ported it over to his EOS project. So he's the CTO over there, but they're using that, and it's going to be huge, man. You're going to be able to develop applications in multiple languages, including Solidity. So, you know, the language that Ethereum uses, you'll be able to actually create smart contracts, decentralized apps and stuff with Solidity, with I think C#, Java. There are a myriad of languages you can use, and that's going to open it up to a lot of development, I believe. Wow. And really growth on that platform when it's ready. So that's the most exciting one for me. I mean, I like Litecoin. That was my first altcoin. Bought that at 55 cents, if you can believe it. And I mined that for years. So Litecoin I love. I like Ethereum. I just think there are some issues that it needs to that team needs to really figure out, you know, with the crypto kitties. That's really scary, and to me, to see that clog up the network when this is supposed to be a network that is for decentralized apps, and one has kind of brought it down or slowed it down a little bit. So I mean, again, Ethereum is cool. PPT is, of course, is going crazy. I did not get enough of that PPT though. I missed the boat on that, man.
I didn't miss the boat, but I didn't upgrade my class on it. I got my
me either.
I got them.
I still made 10x, which is, I mean, amazing. But what I was going to put in there, oh my gosh, man, that would have been great. But PayPal is another one I think is good. A lot of the tokens, or a lot of the what we call crypto assets on the Ethereum blockchain, I think is where the growth is going to be going into 2018. First quarter, second quarter of 2018. It won't be your percentage wise. I don't think it'll be your like Bitcoin, Litecoin. I think you'll see more percentage gains in some of the Ethereum tokens.
Yeah, I agree with that, because the you know, the blue chip money, right? The currencies or crypto, your top three ish. Yes. You know, that's going to be your money ones. But when you're talking about diversification to some utility tokens,
correct.
You know, that's what he's saying. People is. All of these people that ICO'd this summer, I say summer, my winter, will be coming out with their products, and then it'll get to, as they say, separate the wheat from the chaff. So if you're gonna come out in this, you know, this December, January, February with your app or your whatever your thing is, then I think people are gonna sell you off, and then it might be kind of good luck, or you know, see you later on in the year, but whether it's the PP, like once PPT took off, I was like, oh, well, I should have added to that. So let me just go get some more PPP, some PayPal. So I was like, let me just go up, add a couple more, few thousand of those things, because they're similar. The same thing. They're similar, and even if it doesn't do a PPT and go up to $30-$40, I think it will.
Honestly, be honest with you, that project seems like it could have more legs than your PPT. You know, not taking away from PPT, but just it seems like they have a more broader business model. Yeah. And man, yes, I did the same thing, man. I went and bought some more PPT, some more PPP, and
So and you know, I try to tell people, you know, once you get your solid position, well, I suggest if you get a solid position in like your blue chips, then I'll look for those Lucents or those Cisco's of blockchain. Right. Because, like, man, my favorite is like Ion, you know, private chain interoperability, where, you know, your private chain can talk to their chain through the Ion network, and that private business. I haven't looked at that one. Yeah, man, like they did the weird Dutch auction style, which threw everybody off. And then they got, like, it ended up being crazy, but it's working out where they do this TRS, a token release schedule. You put in your tokens that you bought, and now everybody who did that are going to get 300% back spread out over a year. So, like, you won't have all the tokens flooding the market at once. It'll just be eased out. And that thing went from, like, you know, under $1, and it's at like $4 now, and it really hasn't even, like, popped yet. So people are like cluing in, like, oh. And just recently, it kind of hit that, you know, when you hit the 24-hour up and down, the green, it's like one of the top 2 or 3. So that's going to get more people looking at it. So I was like, oh,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
But man, just people, you know, look at those ones that I call Bitcoin proofing your portfolio, where if the currency parts get shaky, these Cisco's are going to power blockchains, you know, around the world without, you know, say the currency aspect of it. Their token is worth something, but it's not like, you know, your Dash or your Bitcoin, Litecoin. So
correct. The more so the crypto assets.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So you said your background was is in finance and like kind of IT.
Yeah. So always been into finance. Really, that is my passion. But I went to school for computer science with a focus in software engineering. But I started a web development company, and that's what that's kind of my professional side of things. Back in 2006, a partner and I started a commodity trading advisory firm, which basically is like we take qualified investors, basically people who are qualified investors. They want to be a little bit more risky with their funds. We take their money and trade in the Forex and futures markets, options of FX and commodities. So did that for a little bit. It took us almost a year to get through the CFTC and all that red tape. By the time we were ready to rock and roll, guess what? 08 came, and I couldn't raise a dime, bro. Couldn't raise a dime. So that was a lesson learned, and I was exhausted after that failure. So but I traded my own money, you know, and built some algorithms on MetaTrader. So I have those running, and yeah, man, that's why I love this cryptocurrency stuff, because it's like it merges those two fields, those two worlds, man. And it's going to change. It's going to change the world, in my opinion. It already is, really.
And I don't have a trading background, so like even just getting on Ether Delta, man, was kind of like a process. Like I just didn't
I can see that.
When I was ready, like I went for it, you know, learned it, but crypto is so overwhelming that you just kind of have to take your time. And when it comes to you, like I was on Ether Delta only, and then I'm like, okay, now let me just take my little baby step to Binance. And now I get, you know, setting, you know, limit orders. I mean, it's simple, but when you kind of look at these, you know, red and green things, and it's kind of, you know, intimidating for people who aren't.
No, that's intimidating, you know, for sure. I would think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
For your average person.
Yep. And that's probably a barrier of entry for people coming in. They're like, oh, like I got.
But we've got some new decentralized exchanges coming up. Kyber. I think there are a few, man. A few new decent exchanges coming on board that will be competitors to ED. So Ether Delta. So it's exciting times, man.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one of the ones I covered, Loopring. They're gonna have a wallet and protocol that'll just, you know, if you're on Loopring protocol and I want to sell my Litecoin and you want to sell your Veritasium or whatever, it'll find you and just make the deal, and then you know it'll just work. You know, so that'll help.
Yeah, it's gonna be that. Yeah, that's the Lightning.
Yeah.
You know, the Lightning Network, which Charlie Lee is working on, and so 2018 is going to be insane. It's going to be insane.
Right.
So you know, people should be getting in now, trying to secure their positions and ride the wave.
Yeah. So how man, you're up in Detroit, and something I've been thinking about, because obviously we're both black, and with crypto, whether you're a man or woman, like I was talking to Liza S, she's
Liza.
Moderate. Yep. Lisa. You know, like she's a mom, and you know, it doesn't matter who you are in crypto, you can come up. You know, I'm just down here, man. Like, you know, back in America, I was relatively professional, but over here, I'm just a security guard, right? You know, hey, I put out a tweet the other day. Be nice to your Uber driver, because you might be driving him next year. Because that dude's in crypto.
Real talk.
He might be, you know, like, I didn't want to drive the Lambo, but I need a ride into town. You might be picking him up because you got laid off, and he was in, you know, PPT.
There is a definite shift in paradigm and a shift in money wealth. I think this is going to be the biggest wealth shift that we've seen in hundreds and hundreds of years. So, it's much needed, man. The universe is time. A lot of us as middle class individuals have been held down by the system for so long. Man, it's like a rubber band, right? You got that built up, pent up demand, yep. And it's just gonna pop and spring the other way, So,
yeah, I feel like the government's gonna try and come after us at some point. But yeah, man, when that failed, it might be a rough patch. 6 months of they're gonna ban it. Right. They're gonna ban it. And listen, Bitcoin has never gone back to zero. That's why I was like, when I came back to 300 again, the second 300, I was like, it didn't go to zero. It's still here. China ban.
That's the problem. Yeah, so that is the inherent, like that's the running risk that we will have with cryptocurrencies holding them, is that one day that they finally, put up that last fight and they'll throw everything at it to kind of subdue it, but it won't go to zero because it's decentralized. So just like Napster kind of had a centralized point to it because there's an actual company and it had servers, but you take like peer-to-peer ISPF servers and networks like Tor networks and stuff. You can't shut that down. You can't shut Tor networks down. It's decentralized, so it'll just what's that movie? We don't die, we multiply. I forgot what Bebe Kids. It's that. You can't kill it. It's just gonna continue to evolve and replicate. Right. So
that'll be, I think, the black swan that kind of might stop the party for a minute. Like the police coming to the party and everybody gotta be quiet for a minute. And when they drive away, we turn the music back on.
Yeah, exactly. And that may be a person's last opportunity to get into cryptos. I don't know where that point may be.
I know.
And it still may be higher than where we are as far as the retracement.
Right? It's like it pulled back to 35,000. Like exactly. We're at 17 now. Like, Exactly.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right, absolutely. Man. Hey, man, is there anything else, man? Like, I'd love to have you back on and maybe like we do like a monthly thing and just kind of do some recaps, and because, we can just talk crypto all day.
All day.
It's time consuming. It's almost like a labor of love, right?
It is. I spend a lot of time on this stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
So thank God I'm able to do that. But yeah, man, it's exciting. We're in exciting times, and I really think that 2018 is really going to. I saw, what rapper was that? He was on the New York Stock Exchange. I saw it in the Twitter feed. It was a live video yesterday. Young Jeezy, the rapper, he was actually on there talking about Bitcoin. Man, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So yeah, you're gonna see a continued influx in. I think we're gonna run up all the way through the new year, because I think what we had after Thanksgiving was that people who were in cryptos were at the Thanksgiving table talking to family members, telling them how much they've made.
Look at my Blockfolio. The people like, what?
Exactly. And so those people went out and started purchasing. And that's what we have here with the combination of the futures, contracts starting. It's like a few things that we're kind of coming to a head right now at this time.
Perfect storm.
I think, perfect storm. And then after the new year, well, you'll have Christmas, right? You'll have Christmas. You have people again at the dinner tables talking about it, and then those people will go out and buy those new individuals. And then after the new year, in America at least, you'll have tax season, so people will be. Right. So it's gonna run. I think it's gonna have a good run until March, April, May, June, somewhere around there.
I'll try to go on record saying I think there won't be a meaningful pullback till 50,000. Only because it's for me, like, it looks like it's a round number, right? And I did a little poll where most of the people that I polled on my Twitter, actually more than half had no Bitcoin, and that was last summer in July, and then this November I did it again. And the people who had them had between like 1 and 5 or 1 and 6. Mm-hmm. So 20,000 is enough, but 50 is a number where, like, man, if you live in somewhere in, say, Indiana, Ohio, Louisiana, 50,000 buy you a house with some land on it.
Especially here in Detroit, absolutely.
So you'd be like, well, man, I got 6 of them. I could drop 2 of them, still have 4, and get this house paid off, and even remodel it or rent it out. Now you got some passive income with a hard asset. So I think 50 is where people might get a little woo, but so Louis Camersano on my show said, it won't be stable till 100. So
I can believe, like I said, I believe any number. Like we don't know where it's gonna pull back, and with these institutional funds coming in at $500 million. I say this every other video that I start my video off looking at CoinMarketCap. $500 billion is nothing in the financial world. The FX market trades $7 trillion in liquidity a day, and usually that peak is normally on Wednesday. Wednesday is the most volatile day in FX, but $7 trillion a day, man.
Wow.
So this is nothing. Yeah. This is nothing.
Man, I tell you,
so we can see.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, we can see $1 trillion in market cap very soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to, you early. I was in there a little early, so just to be able to watch it and just not even like sweat it, just enjoy the ride, man. Just sit back.
Yeah,
you don't got to worry about trading nothing. You just look back like look at the Blockfolio like this is crazy. this is crazy.
Yep.
Oh man,
it is, man.
And for everybody who goes to work. It's nice to go to work when you got that light in the tunnel. You can just look at people and laugh like.
Absolutely. I encourage people who do still work and have a decent amount of crypto, try to stay working so you don't have to eat into that crypto.
Exactly. Stay employed. Just add to your positions.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. CB, man. Hey, man, thanks, man. It was great. I'll see you in the room. Hopefully you'll come back. I'm enjoying the ride, and everybody subscribe to his show. All the 150 people on my channel, subscribe to his.
So silly, man. Thanks, guys, for having me. Yeah. Definitely.
All right, man. Take it easy. This is Carl Lynch for the C Sigma Show with Crypto Blood.
Holla.
All right, then. Peace.